The vibe is straight up apocalyptic right now. Someone is getting absolutely stomped on, and the heat is rising. It is not just about physical fire, but the total destruction of the soul. Honestly, the betrayal trauma is real, and the board needs a hard reset. Finally, touching down in Sylvania, and the city is trying way too hard with these festivities. The new queen is basically a child, which is super suspicious. The public confidence is low-key in the gutter, so they are throwing a parade to distract everyone from the political mess and the assassination of the late queen. Just when you think it is a chill day, a literal werewolf crashes the parade float. The detective steps in like it is nothing. Then comes the reunion with Lauren, who is acting all distant. The tension between them is thick, but they have got bigger problems than their situationship right now. Lauren drops the lore on a new case involving bodies burned to ashes. It is giving serial killer vibes. The detective is hesitant, but realizes this connects to the airship incident from 3 years ago. It is time to chase down the mark on the bullet and find the truth behind the chaos. The combat sequence is absolute chaos. The detective is throwing hands and proving they have not lost their touch. It is all about resetting the board and taking control. The bad guys are trying to disturb the peace, but they are about to learn a very painful lesson about messing with pros. With the werewolf handled, the constables can clean up the mess. Lauren offers a proper briefing at a restaurant because business meetings are always better with food. The detective needs all the tea on the Nameless ashes case before committing to this nightmare. It is time to lock in and focus. Entering the Mind Palace to reconstruct the crime scene is such a flex. The victims were huddled together in a warehouse, likely part of some secret organization. The fire was way hotter than normal, melting iron. This was not an accident. It was a targeted hit with high-tech gear designed to destroy everything. The detective is definitely not at 100% health-wise. That old wound is acting up, and operating solo is a major red flag right now. Lauren insists on getting an assistant because the buddy system is mandatory. The detective has high standards, but they need someone to watch their back immediately. Pixie, a street kid, shows up standing the detective hard. He used to read the stories in the papers and thinks the detective is a hero, not a villain. He drops some gifts and offers moral support. It is wholesome content in the middle of a Grimm city investigation, proving the reputation is still intact. Hearing a cry for help in the alleyway triggers the hero instinct immediately. It is just some low-level goons trying to act tough. They clearly did not check the leaderboard before starting this fight. The detective shuts them down quick, proving that street smarts beat raw aggression every single time. Finally, back at the home base, but the place is a disaster zone. Dust has been collecting for 3 years. It is going to take a serious, deep clean before it is livable. The nostalgia hits hard looking at old photos and vinyl records, remembering the good old days before the trauma took over. Hi there! If you want to enjoy more gaming lore without grinding for 60 hours, hit that subscribe button. I do the grinding so you don't have to. Your support really helps the channel. Waking up to a random girl in the house is a jump scare. It is Alf, one of the assistant candidates. She is eager but totally clueless. Lauren arrives with the roster, trying to find someone who is not a total liability. The interview process is about to be a cringe fest of epic proportions. Alf is trying her best, but she cannot read or make tea properly. It is painful to watch. The detective needs someone with actual brain cells, not just enthusiasm. Lauren suggests a company clerk with 10 years of experience who is waiting upstairs. Hopefully, this one is not a complete flop like the last one. The clerk upstairs is definitely not a clerk. She is giving femme fatale energy with a side of mystery. She calls herself the Red Rose and starts playing mind games immediately. She swapped places with the real candidate just to get a look at the famous detective. She is moving mad and hiding her true agenda. The mystery lady dips before anyone can get real answers. Lauren is shook because his best candidate was an imposter. Now they are back to square one with zero viable assistants. The detective decides to check the last candidate on the first floor, hoping this one is not another weirdo or spy. Ashley has already cleaned the entire office and is acting super professional. She admits to being a fan who studied the case files. This is a total 180 from the previous disasters. She is articulate, prepared, and actually knows what she is doing. Finally, someone who understands the assignment and can help. The detective grills Ashley on her reading speed and data organization skills. She claps back with a detailed answer about processing case files and evidence. She clearly prepped for this interview like it was finals week. The detective is impressed. It looks like the team finally has a brainiac to handle the logistics. Taking the new assistant to a cafe to bond and talk shop. The city looks clean on the surface, but the economic situation is messy. The corporations are taking over and the old nobility is losing its grip. Ashley drops some knowledge proving she is tapped into the current events and political drama. Ashley agrees to work for free if the detective helps solve a personal mystery about stolen silver. Just as they are getting into it, Grimm the journalist crashes the party. He is loud, obnoxious, and obsessed with the idea of writing the story of the century about the detective's return. Grimm starts yapping about the airship crash and the detective's past trauma. It is super disrespectful. Ashley shuts him down, telling him to check his manners. Grimm storms off, claiming he is going to make history, but he is giving major clout chaser energy. Good riddance to that toxic behavior. Ashley lays out the mystery of the stolen silver. A rich dude locked his coins in a safe, kept the key, but found only shavings later. No one touched the key. It is a classic locked room puzzle. The detective needs to figure out how the loot vanished without a trace. Back at the office, Alf is proud of herself for beating up a brat who tried to sneak in. She also made tea, but she used salt instead of sugar. It is a disaster, but it reminds the detective of his brother. So, against all logic, she gets to stay as security. Using the evidence board to crack Ashley's riddle. Maybe the rich guy was lying to frame the servant. Maybe someone made a copy of the key. Or maybe the coins weren't solid silver but liquid mercury. The theories are flying, but nothing feels like the 100% correct answer just yet. Ashley rushes in with terrible news. Grimm, the annoying journalist from yesterday, is dead. And not just dead, he was burned to ashes in an alleyway. It sounds exactly like the Nameless Ashes case the detective was hired to solve. The coincidence is way too suspicious to ignore, so they investigate. Arriving at the crime scene, a witness claims they saw Grimm screaming in flames. It sounds absolutely horrific. The witness was just watering flowers and got traumatized for life. It seems like an open and shut case of spontaneous combustion or murder, but the detective knows better than to trust surface-level info. Scanning the alley for clues. There are 2 sets of footprints, so Grimm was not alone. There is also residue from a high-temperature reactor. This was a calculated hit using advanced tech. The burned body is unrecognizable, which is convenient for the killer but frustrating for the investigation team to identify. spotting a shady guy watching the investigation from the rooftops. The detective goes into parkour mode to chase him down. The guy tries to escape, but he is no match for the detective's skills. After a quick scuffle, he is cornered and ready to spill the tea on what he actually saw. The punk admits he was in the alley to loot, not kill. He saw a fancy lady there who completely wrecked him in a fight. She lost a high-heeled shoe in the struggle. This proves a mysterious woman was at the scene right when things went down. The plot thickens significantly. Putting the pieces together, a charred corpse, a high-power reactor, a missing journalist, and a mysterious fighting lady. There is also strange residue on the shoe that matches the corpse. It is looking like a complex setup. The detective needs to re-examine the body to confirm some wild theories about the death. The Navy Superintendent, Rex, sweeps in and confiscates the body. He is shutting down the investigation and telling the detective to back off. It is a classic power trip. Now the evidence is locked up in the constabulary, which means a heist is the only option left to get the truth. Ashley tries to distract with the silver riddle, but the detective is laser-focused on the burned body. They have to break into the police station. It is risky behavior, but necessary. Ashley decides to ride or die with the plan, proving she is more than just a secretary. They are going in. Lauren is basically useless because the Navy is breathing down his neck. He cannot officially help, so he gives a subtle hint to leave. The detective is not taking no for an answer. They find a window that was conveniently left open. It is time to sneak in and get that sample. Creeping through the station while the guards are distracted. The Navy reinforcements are clueless. The detective locates the morgue and grabs a sample from the charred remains. It is a high-stress stealth mission, but the objective is secured. Now comes the hard part, which is getting out without being caught. Rex catches them at the exit. He is not happy about the break-in. He challenges the detective to a duel. It is a clash of ideals and combat styles. Rex is heavy and strong, but the detective is agile. The fight is intense, with fire and heavy hits flying everywhere. They manage to escape when a werewolf goes berserk nearby. Ashley tripped during the run and smashed the sample, but it is not a total loss. The detective knows a coroner who can work with dust if necessary. They are heading to the corner clinic to see an old friend for help. The mysterious Red Rose lady shows up again. Turns out she caused the werewolf distraction to help them escape. She is playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. She hints that her client is someone important and disappears again. She is definitely a chaotic neutral character in this story. Arriving at the clinic to meet Dr. Pheo. She is salty about the detective ghosting her for 3 years. She refuses to help unless the detective retrieves her stolen cargo from some local gangs. It is a fetch quest, but fair is fair. The detective heads out to handle business immediately. Finding the gang at the intersection. They are weirdly terrified when the clinic is mentioned. Apparently, Pheo has a reputation for being terrifying. The detective tracks down the leader to get the goods back. It is funny how the toughest guys crumble at the mention of a doctor and her needles. The gang tries to jump the detective, but they get folded instantly. They surrender the cargo immediately, claiming Pheo does human experiments on them. They just wanted revenge, but realized they messed up. The detective grabs the cargo and heads back, leaving the traumatized gangsters behind to rethink their life choices. Pheo runs the tests. The victim was a male in his 30s, but the kicker is that he was already dead before the fire started. There was no smoke in his lungs. This changes everything. It proves the burning was a cover-up to hide the identity of the corpse. Pheo gives the detective some stabilizers for the trauma and hallucinations. She also explains the experiments were just aggressive vaccinations for a skin disease. She is actually saving lives, but her bedside manner is terrifying. With the scientific evidence secured, the detective returns to the office to cook up the final theory. Pixie runs up with crucial intel. Grimm was working on a massive scoop and hid key evidence in the safest place. This confirms Grimm was a target. The puzzle pieces are snapping into place. The detective realizes exactly where to look for the missing link to solve the entire mystery. Using the lab bench to analyze the strange goo found on the shoe and corpse. It is a flame retardant mixed with mud. It absorbs heat and prevents burning. This is the smoking gun. It explains how someone could survive being in the fire or how a body was prepped for staging. The detective drops the ultimate deduction. Grimm faked his death. He and an accomplice used a prop body that was already dead and staged the burning. Grimm coated himself in the retardant to survive the initial flames before switching with the corpse. It was a high-stakes magic trick to fool everyone. The escape got messy because of the street punk. Grimm's lady accomplice had to fight him off to give Grimm time to hide. That is why she lost her shoe. She took the heat so Grimm could vanish into the shadows. It was a desperate move in a perfect plan. Why go through all this? Because Grimm is being hunted by someone powerful. Faking his death was the only way to get off the radar. The charred body was just a John Doe used to sell the narrative. Now the question is, where is the evidence he died to protect? The safest place Pixie mentioned was not Grimm's house. It was the detective's office. Grimm broke in yesterday to hide his notebook, not to steal. The detective finds it hidden in the kitchen. This notebook contains the secrets of the Nameless ashes. The real game starts now. Gaming lore is long and confusing, but I break it down every week. Subscribe so you never miss a plot twist or hidden detail. Thanks for watching.